nights trying to be here for a long time. Just a good time. I got a lot of shit weighing on my mind. Weighing on my mind.
What a way to start the pod. Special request from the one and only, the new Nathan Raymond for a couple weeks, Mr. Rashid Alash.
Goddamn. Thank you for the introduction.
Man, this is the man who was behind the scenes doing the editing for quite a while for us. So it's the man in the flesh.
Hey, man.
It's good to have you on, man.
Man, it's good to be seen.
Yeah.
It's good to be in front of the camera now. Yeah.
Well, how was your day today, mate? We'll start it off like that.
You know how it is. Just, we're working. That's it. Just
working.
It's simple. No.
Business never sleeps, guys. The business never sleeps.
Bro, at this point, man, I'm like half asleep. But, it's all right. It's all right.
It's good. The mind's still fresh.
You could say it. You could put it like that. You could frame it in that way,
Well, I'm glad. It's good to have you on, man. I'm excited.
Man, I'll be honest, yeah. I'm a bit surprised myself. Listen, it's cool editing it, you know what I mean, just helping out, you know what I mean, helping out where we can help out.
Yeah.
But Nathaniel, Mr. Raymond.
Nathaniel, mate.
What's happened, man? What's going on?
I don't know what's happened, to be honest. But he said that someone needs to take over for a couple of weeks.
Whoa.
Until the Mandem's back. So, yeah. You get used to Rush, ladies and gents. He's the new Nate. New and improved. How about we give this guy a call?
Let's
see what he's up to.
That's the way to go.
Let's see what he's up to.
So what do you think he's doing?
What do I think Nathan Raymond's doing right now?
It's an unpredictable.
It's 9:30 p.m. on a Friday night. So, I'm going to take a stab in the dark and say he's listening to Kid Leroy right now.
Kid Leroy.
And scrolling through TikTok. What would you say he's doing?
See, your podcast host, Nathaniel Raymond, is a very, very unpredictable man.
He is.
However,
he is.
He's quite volatile. Anyway, minus that point. He's playing FIFA.
Oh, that's a good shout.
He's playing FIFA. He's, maybe some music there, but...
Ladies and gents, we're trying to get Nathan on the line right now. Come on. Surely he answers.
Hollywood now, man. He got in Hollywood, man.
There's no way he ghosts me, man. Maybe he should just never return to the pod. He's done the BTU man. Listeners dirty.
Come on, man. None of this is planned, hence why he hasn't answered.
Exactly.
Maybe we should have told him.
Hopefully he calls back. I'm leaving my phone here, just in case. But we'll get into it. Today's a little bit different. So the Mandem Rash has come up with a brilliant idea. Of giving you guys an insight of who I am. So I'm not going to be the interviewer today. I've got no idea what's happening. He's got the laptop. He's got the notes. He's got the questions. He's got everything. I'm simply I am the guest today. And I'm excited because I feel like I'm going to share quite a lot of my story with you guys. So yeah.
Yeah,
the interviewer Rush. I'm the guest, Trent Andre.
He's a guest on his own podcast.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's good.
I'm just a little audience member, I'm just trying to
He's asking the questions that all of you might have.
I'm asking the questions that need to be answered. That's it. That's all a man like me does. I just ask the questions and we don't complain about the answers. We get to it.
All right, I'm going to leave this in your hands.
Leave this in my hands?
Yeah. We've thrown you in the deep end here.
Yeah, man.
You're taking control.
Oh. All right. Rightio.
Hey,
yo. We're going to... actually, guys, I'm going to need to pause that one. And I don't think I can do this anymore. But get into it. So tell us, what were you up to today, man? This is a good way to, a good segue.
What was I up to today? Yeah. Well, today I had Summer Jam. It was the first day of the big event. For those of you that might not know what that is, it's an outdoor basketball event, biggest event in Melbourne for basketball probably.
Yep.
Outside of competition and like a representative level. But it was all right. It was all right. We had the 5v5 scrimmages today.
Mm-hmm.
Lost both games, unfortunately.
Unfortunate.
I'm not going to say why because I might get angry.
Oh.
Let's just say it wasn't my fault. Nah, that's a bad way to put it. It's a team effort. It's a team effort.
That's a toxic way to put it.
Yeah, we just didn't play well. Simple as that. But it was a good day. It was a good event. It was fun. Quite a few people out. But no, it was good. It was good. It's a time for everyone to get together in the basketball scene and just have fun. So threw down some nice dunks, got some nice photos. Yeah, I'm ready. This whole weekend's going to be fun. Got games tomorrow. Hopefully play some 3-on-3. Sunday's championship day. Another slam dunk contest. So
God damn.
yeah, it was good.
It's always good, you know what I mean? You know, a little summer jam, little jam in the summer, you know, get yourself going, you know what I mean? Like, has basketball started back up yet?
It hasn't. Season starts in April.
Yeah.
We started, preseason started. It started in like October.
Preseasons it always happens after the season, so it's either preseason or the season.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's no break really.
Yeah.
It's like 2-3 weeks off, back into it. So, but it's good. Nah, just cardio at the moment. Really trying to get in shape. I'm sure all you hoopers can relate. So yeah. Season starts in April.
Season starts in April. So you tell me, like, when it comes to summer jam, right? And how many years have you played? Not just summer jam, but how long have you played basketball for? And what sort of level have you done that at?
I've played basketball since I was 9. I was tossing up between basketball and footy when I was younger. But obviously went down the basketball route.
Baller.
I've played at all different levels. Started in, like D grade, E grade, domestic, like a rock bottom. And then rep played, under 12s, 14s, 16, 18s. Again, all different levels. Top age, I was like in the ones team playing Vic Champ. And then when I was bottom age, going into the older group, I'd go back down to like the 4th team, 5th team. I'm not gonna say why again.
Oh.
Not gonna question it either. But yeah, it was a long journey. I'll put it that way. Long journey, lots of hard work, a lot of persistence, definitely. A lot of times where I wanted to give up, but just got to keep pushing, I guess.
Got to keep it pushing.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
It's definitely a good perspective on things, but I'm also interested because right now, obviously, you're playing like an NBL 1 level, which is, if I'm correct, I could be wrong.
It's like VFL, basically.
It's basically like the G League to the NBA.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's an accomplishment on its own.
Mm-hmm.
That's on its own. That's something like most people never even reach that stage, to be completely honest and to be completely fair. Is that something you're proud of?
100%.
And
100%.
More than that, what is it you want from basketball? Because, for example, right, like you've got people who will watch every game, but you see them touch a basketball and you give them the advice never to touch a basketball again, right?
Yeah.
And then, those are like fans. And then you've got people who will play it for fun and they're more hobbyists.
Yep.
And then, you know what I'm saying? So what is it for you? Do you have aspirations for it? Do you?
I want to do it as a career. That's my main goal is to play and receive an income. Not that I do it for the money, but obviously I want to get to a position where I'm comfortable and I'm happy doing what I love. Because personally, I don't want to work a job that feels like a job. I feel like that's everyone's goal really. Like, you don't want to do something where it drains you. I want to do something that I love and I'm passionate for, where I can come home and say I like today. Like today was fun. So like if I'm in the gym all day and training and playing basketball, doing what I love, I feel like I'd be happy, So that's a simple way to put it. But it's definitely going to require a lot of hard work to get to where I want to be.
It's already probably taken a lot of hard work already to get where you are.
A lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifice. Just your own time. Like you're sacrificing time with friends, time doing other things that are less straining on your body. But, you know, at the end of the day, for me, it's worth it. Like I find happiness in doing it. So, getting to the level of NBL 1 was definitely a long journey. Yeah. And there's definitely a longer road ahead, I would say. Because the difference between the level I'm at and the next level is a huge jump.
When you talk about that next level and that next jump, and obviously that path, where does that path lead, and what is that? What's that next level? Because you know what I mean. Like for example, some people's next level is NBA. Some people's is going and playing in Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
So, you get the point.
My next level.
What is it for you? Where's that?
My goal is to play NBL. Like I've come to accept the fact that I'm not going to make the NBA. It's
never know, man.
I know, but like it's an unrealistic goal to have, for me anyway. So I like to keep things realistic, you know. I'm not going to throw anything out there. Obviously, my dream is definitely to play NBA, always has been. But at this time, the position that I'm at, like it's just the chances are like basically impossible to do that. So my goal is to play NBL. I want to get there in the next, 2, 3, 4 years. That's my goal really. So I'm not in any rush. I'm still young, still got a long way to go, a lot of developing. So yeah, one step at a time.
One step at a time.
Yeah, gain a bigger role in NBL 1 hopefully in the next season or two. And yeah, just work my way up.
So when it comes to like, I'm not too familiar. Obviously, you know that I'm not like the biggest basketball fan, or I haven't really. I've never played basketball even at like a junior level. I actually did try out, but anyway, side note, not really relevant. I was too chubby. They sent my fat ass back. Anyway, ignore that. Side note. So I'm like, how do these sort of things work? Because listen, I played soccer for 6 years, among other sports and that sort of thing. In soccer, there was a lot of like, I'll be honest, like favoritism, politics, bullshit.
I think that exists in every sport. In every sport. I think in some sports, it's definitely more, what's the word?
Like more involved in the sport, or more like dominant in the sport?
Yeah, like it's more, it's
more an influence, sorry.
Yeah, it definitely exists more in other sports. For example, soccer and basketball, I think they'd be the main two. Yeah. Footy, definitely. But again, like as much as I do agree that there are politics in sports, I think that there is a point where people get that you're too talented for it to be existent anymore, which is what I'm trying to achieve. Like for those that do know me, you guys know that I haven't really got my name out there in the basketball scene as much as I would like to have, but I'm not gonna. I don't chase it. Yeah, So yeah.
No, I get that. I think that the reason why I'm asking more so, it's like,
excuse me,
you're excused. More so like, okay, for example, right? This is what I've heard, and you can correct me, you probably know more. When you're like in the G League, right? The opportunity or the pathway to get to the NBA is really minimal. And so usually they'll probably take, you know what I mean? Like maybe someone out of college, or, someone who's...
the main pathway to the NBA is through college.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So when it comes to NBL, is that still... Is this probably the most viable or the best pathway?
I think it would be, yeah. I think it would be. Because, like, we don't really have college here. Like, there's no college ball, So yeah, I think playing at this level is what most coaches would be looking at. I'm not really sure, to be honest. They don't do a draft, I don't think. They just sort of pick players up every year as like development roles, and just if you perform, you perform, I guess. Yeah. So like it's very different to the NBA where they have to draft players every year.
You get like picks and stuff.
Yeah, it's there's a very small percentage of people that get picked up every year. That's my understanding of it. But yeah.
Probably better than me. But the reason why I'm asking, it's like, yeah, as I said, from what I've heard in like the G League or whatever, it's like the amount of people that will actually get like an opportunity, and you'll hear about like certain people will get like a smaller contract, and they'll just never play, and so like they might be G League and they might tear up the G League, and then obviously there is a difference in terms of quality 100%. And standards in the G League and NBA. But that's just why I'm asking. Is in terms of a pathway, as you're saying, there is a pathway, but for me, you said something about performance. And also like slightly my personal opinion on it. What is your, as I said, there's certain people who I'm sure, man, just to make it to this level, as I've said before, takes on its own tremendous skill.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Above average. Definitely. You know what I mean? These sorts of things. What are your thoughts on performance? Is that something you struggle with? Is that something, what is it you do to be able to perform? Because as you said, you might not get the sort of minutes, whether that's politics, and I'm not saying this is you, whether they just don't think you're as good as or you don't perform or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So what is it that you believe in terms of performance, and what helps you perform, and what is it you hope to, sort of display when
I think it's really, it comes down to what your coach wants. Like, there's guys, for myself especially, like I've been a shooting guard my whole life, basically. Like, I've always been a two-man. I've always had the ability to, slip down to the one, but it's never been my main role. I've always played as a scorer.
The one, sorry to interrupt you, is a point guard, correct?
Point guard, yeah. So like I've always been the scorer of my team, basically. Recently, obviously because of my size, like I've had to slip down to the one. Obviously, that's a better fit for the team as well. Like at NBL 1, you've got scorers. Like you've got people. You say, "Hey man, go get me a bucket." So like I'm not that guy anymore. Obviously, like I'm nowhere near. Like I don't have a huge role in NBL 1. Like I'm hoping to be a backup point guard this year, even if I'm not. Like it is what it is. Like I just want to have some sort of role where I can at least come on and play, 5-10 minutes or whatever it is, and just have some sort of impact in the game. That's the position I'm in at the moment. Obviously further down the track, I want to increase that role. But that's what I am at the moment. So for me, being that scorer and now shifting towards a point guard, it's been a completely different change of my game. I've become more of a distributor than a scorer, which I think I've transitioned really well into that. I think I do facilitate the ball well. But yeah, like you said, like what stands out, it depends what the coach is looking for. Let's say Melbourne United, for example, they're lacking bigs, right? They're not going to look at me. They're going to look at the bigs. They're going to look at the 6'10" guys who are dominant. They might not want someone who's an interior scorer because their playbook is completely different to Brisbane, let's say. They want someone who can stretch the floor and shoot well at that center position, right?
Yeah.
You've got different players at different positions, and it really comes down to what the coach wants. So,
and in terms of like performance, and this is what I'm going back to, because and what I was saying about my belief, I didn't really explain that, but my belief isn't about the most skilled player always wins. It's the person who performs the best. And so for me, I've always been impressed with performance. And of course, like skill is a component performance, right? You can't, be some Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes off the
Of
street and
course.
has never, shot a basketball in his life and is going to go, no, you're not going to perform.
Yeah.
But there's in terms of
fundamentals.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm turning like, for me, what's always been impressive is someone who's able to perform, and especially I think that's important, especially for maybe perhaps someone in your position who doesn't get as many minutes and isn't able to. You get 2 minutes here and then 3 minutes next quarter and whatever. Because I've seen you come on and off, and we're getting frustrated. But you get my point, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what is it for you that's important? What are you focusing, as you said, distributing?
Yeah.
But what are your beliefs on performance and performing? And what is it? What is sort of what I'm trying to ask.
I believe every player has their own way of having an impact in a game. So there's the guys that have the best handles in the world but can't make a shot to save their lives, right? And then there's guys who you watch. It's as simple as this, right? As a coach or even as just someone who's watching a game, right? There will be a dunk.
Okay.
Let's put it this way. There'll be a dunk, and it'll be the biggest dunk you've ever seen in your life. That's the play you're going to remember from that game.
True.
Right? But there'll be a big man who's just got 20 points and 20 rebounds, hasn't done anything flashy. That's what the coach is going to pick. Right?
Well, a good coach.
A good coach, A good coach is going to. That's what they're going to pick, right?
Yeah.
You haven't remembered anything about that performance. To me, that's obviously the better performance. So, like you said, it's not always the most skilled player that comes out on top.
Yeah, I think for me it's a big thing, and I've seen it consistently, even throughout sports, just in general. You'll see like people who always underperform and underdeliver. Like that they have the capacity and the skill set to be able to, either beat their opponent or opponents, and sort of, reach a next level. But you'll see there's some who just
just crumble.
They crumble and they never figure that performance part of things out.
I think the most important thing is just finding a way to implement it. Like you can have all the skill in the world, do all the training in the world, but if you haven't had game repetition for you to actually implement it into your game and use it in the correct way, it's pointless.
So you're saying experience is
experience,
really,
it's very
obviously
important.
Like what's the word? Sort of like applied practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, rather than
so, for example, right? Obviously, I'm playing NBL 1. For me, when I play youth league, because I'm still only 21, I'm still playing youth league, right? On the days when the games don't clash.
Yeah, true.
For me, that's my time to really perfect my craft and try new things, so that when I do jump into NBL 1, I've had that practice. Even though the game isn't similar, NBL 1 is a lot. It's a lot more structured, and it's just a more professional league.
Of course, though.
Youth league is still a high level of play when you actually look at it. So for me, that's what I'll do. Like I'll go into that game and say, all right, here's where I try new things, and I play with a lot more confidence. And I'm willing to experiment, certain different things. So for any guys who might be in the same position, I mean, you guys should do the same, seriously, because like I said before, you're going to get to that position and you're like, oh shit, how do I actually do this? It's important to get game repetition.
Yeah, I think you're touching on like a very big point. It's sort of like, game experience or sort of like applied practices. I don't know why I like to call it that, but that ability to, or rather the experience of actually trying whatever the movements or skills are, and actually having them, being confident that you can execute them
exactly
whenever that comes. It's an interesting philosophy, and that's sort of that's more so what I'm trying to get out of you, more so than just like I need to pass the ball to people.
Yeah,
it's more so like the underlying what is it for you that's important. So experience is one. Yeah, right. Is there anything else that
just mindset value? Like to me, basketball or any sport really is 90% your mindset, because the way that you go into a game or training or even just your whole career, the mindset that you have towards it is what's going to impact it the most, right? It's as simple as just saying, I go to training, I can't be bothered tonight. I'm going to perform like shit. If I go there saying, all right, I'm going to work hard and I'm going to get better.
It's a lot of time.
I'm going to get better. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, it doesn't mean I'll perform the best. It just means that I've got something out of it with a positive mindset. So yeah, to me, the most important thing is your mindset. 100%. Obviously staying healthy, repetition, training. I mean, there's a whole list that you have to follow, but mindset is definitely number one.
Of course, perhaps you would maybe say, and of course I'm speaking for you at this point, but you know, the body follows the mind. So
yeah, 100%.
Everything else sort of, you know, if you don't have, you know, the mind and the mindset that's focused or, you know, adaptable or whatever it is that the mindset that is required for the sport. If you're not, you know, actually wanting to give it your all and not trying, because I'll just watch some of the basketball players, and you watch different sports, and in certain sports like soccer, for example, they can be very athletic and they can get away with, I don't want to say a weak mindset, but it's a weaker mindset in my opinion, right? Basketball, to some extent, you can get away with that, especially maybe like some of the smaller, more agile, you know, sort of guys who have handles and that sort of thing. But there's certain sports, it's like, you know what I mean? You're getting...
It's natural talent.
Yeah.
And I've had this conversation with quite a few people. One of the guys I actually train, I had this conversation with a couple of days ago. There's guys whose natural talent outweighs a guy that has worked his whole life. And that's just how it is. You have to accept that that's just how it is. But at some stage, if you work hard enough, like, you can overcome that natural talent, right? Someone like me, for example, I'm not the most naturally talented guy, right? But I've worked so hard for so many years that the guys that were better than me when I was 16, because of natural talent, I've surpassed, I guess you could say, because of how hard I've worked, right? It took me years on years on years. And of course, it was hard to accept the fact that, all right, this guy's just better than me somehow, right? He's lazy as shit. He just plays PS4 games while I'm doing 3 hours, you know, in the backyard, putting reps up. But that's just how it is, you know? But eventually it got to a point where my consistent work, because I've been doing it for so long now, it's better. It's finally better.
Yeah. It's like he's lazy, but the reality
he's just good.
He's still better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And whether that's a performance element or, you know, whatever, you try and break that down. Of course, it's like you can't mathematically break down, oh, it's 64% performance and 23, you know what I'm saying? It's not something you can analyze as in like it's not.
And it still exists in NBL 1 level. There's still guys that you'll see who don't give a shit, man. They don't care about the game, but somehow they just get buckets, man. And you're just like, how? Like, how? This guy doesn't train.
This guy doesn't train.
You know, like he comes to the team practice and that's it. There's no extra work. Like, you sit on your ass, you have bad habits, but you're still just a bucket. And it's like, how?
How?
You know? But that's just how it is. Some people just have it.
Yeah, but you're talking about NBL 1, right? Let's talk about NBA, for example. And the reason why, because that is the highest level, right? In some cases, right, like, and this is getting a bit more of a sort of philosophical debate or philosophical discussion, but that gift of talent that people have that allows them to be, you know, naturally better than others, or naturally pick up, just, you know, as you said, not train that much, just treat it like a hobbyist and still be able to perform at such a high level and execute. Might even be a curse, because a lot of them would take that for granted. And it's 100%. Like you're saying, like, you weren't someone who was a natural, so for you, your only option was to work harder.
Yeah. And I'm also grateful, just touching on that, I'm grateful that I was never handed an opportunity, because I could never get complacent. A lot of guys were handed opportunity and given certain positions in basketball where they were just like, I'm gonna make it no matter what, because I'm just handed this opportunity.
Yeah, I'm the coach's son.
But you know, like that's the truth. Like a lot of guys, they get complacent, and eventually they run out of luck.
Eventually, you know what it is, and it's like this is a good saying. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, or something. I'm paraphrasing, but it's
when
something
talent fails to work hard.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's a very accurate quote, because you'll even see it, and it's like you might not beat them in 6 months of working hard. You might not beat them in 8 months, a year, but it starts getting like it starts getting closer and closer and closer, and then it's like, oh, yeah, I'm here.
And I think a lot of athletes, and even just in general life, people make comparisons, right? And I'm not saying all comparisons are unhealthy, but 95% of the time, the comparisons that people make are just unhealthy.
Foolish.
Yeah. Like, compare yourself to see where you are at. Don't compare yourself to see, what should I say?
Are you talking about like maybe compare yourself to this? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is I want to say Jordan Peterson says this.
Don't compare yourself out of envy. That's what I'm trying to say.
Different. I was going to say, don't compare yourself to who others are. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday.
That too. Yeah.
That one's always stuck with me, because as you're talking about, right, and when it goes back to that talent, and it's sort of loops back in. Some people are just talented. It's like if you look at it with envy, like you were saying, and you ignore that sort of, you sort of they're just natural, and you sort of don't just realize you have to work hard.
What I'm trying to say is don't compare yourself. You know, for example, I'll compare myself to someone, and I'll be like, man, I'm so much better than him. Why the hell's in here? Why is he in that position? Right? That's a bad way to compare.
I agree.
Right? But comparing yourself where, let's say I was to go and scrimmage with a bunch of NBL guys, right? I'd compare myself. All right, where am I at compared to these guys? How much further do I need to go? How much harder do I need to work? You know, what's their workload like compared to mine? And how can I try and get to that position? That's a healthy comparison.
Okay.
When you compare yourself to people and start to go, oh, why the hell's he there? Like, there's no point. You're not going to gain anything from that.
What's the difference between those two for you?
I think
between a negative and a positive sort of comparison.
One is, it's almost like motivation. The other is just like trying to degrade someone.
Would you say it's like the perception or sort of the intent that you have behind the comparison?
100%. Yeah. You go into a comparison where you're comparing yourself with people who play at a high level, which is something that you want to do and chase. You've gone into that with good intent because you're trying to find out the difference between what you guys do and how they got to where they are. Yep. So now you have the knowledge to work towards that. Whereas if you compare, like I was saying, like there's no benefit of that.
Yeah.
It's just a waste of time, waste of your breath, and you're probably just going to make yourself angry. That's just the truth.
No, this is true. It's true. It's like, because it's like, it's so funny. Everyone's like, oh, you shouldn't judge others. It's like everyone judges everyone else. Yeah. And it's like, sometimes you know what I mean? You try not to do it, but it's almost like an unconscious thing. You're just like, oh, I'm comparing myself. Oh shit, let me snap out of that. Or like I'm talking about myself more so. But not that it happens often, but you get the point, right? It's like, oh, why am I comparing myself now? You know what I mean? But going back to more so, we sort of dolphin dived into
we did, but it's good. It's good.
No, it's something I reckon important, because as I was saying, that NBL 1 accomplishment gives you some sort of insight into these sorts of things.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what I'm trying to,
you go
wisdom, man.
You go from, I was playing youth league before NBL 1, right? You've got your team practice, you've got your games on the weekend, and that's all you'll do with the team. That's it, right? Now in NBL 1, you've got coaches that will do individuals with you, right? So you've got, your Tuesday, Thursday session, games on the weekend. Now you've got session on Wednesday. Now you've got a session on Friday. You've got physios, right? You've got like a strength and conditioning coach that is willing to help you out. Like it's there's a lot more to it.
Professional shit, man.
Yeah, like not that like
level.
you start to see what's involved and how important like your body is and how to maintain it and like you start to see
it's another level. It's
Yeah.
you're taking things more serious, and obviously that's related to a step up in competition.
100%. So like my advice to anyone who is trying to reach that position of playing NBL 1 or NBL or at the collegiate level or EuroLeague, NBA, whatever it is, you have to understand that like the workload that these guys have is ridiculous, right? These guys are getting paid like it's their full-time job.
They're getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
Literally,
Yeah. Like they're doing it every day for God knows how long. Like you want to take it to that next level, don't have any days off. Right? It's good to have rest, it's good to recover, but you got to understand to get to that level, you got to work hard. It took me a long time to get to just NBL 1. And on the bigger scale of things, global scale, it's peanuts.
It's peanuts. Yeah.
Let's be honest, it's peanuts. So like you want to play, these are the best players in the world. You gotta work.
Yeah, that's why I thought you'd be able to give an interesting insight into something that even someone like myself probably I've had some experience with sort of competition and that sort of thing, but maybe not to this sort of level. So that's why it's interesting even for me, and I assume probably interesting for others.
Yeah.
But really taking a back step.
Yeah.
More so about you. And it's like, obviously, we've discussed basketball for probably the last 30 minutes.
We have.
We have spot on. But you're not just a basketballer.
I'm not.
You're not. So
There's a lot to me.
Oh,
I'm like an onion.
like an onion.
I've got layers, man.
Shrek, relax. Shrek, relax. I'm not even sure. There's something about like some onion joke in Shrek. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
You know
about.
what I'm talking about. Anyway, not relevant.
You fit in well on this podcast.
Man, beyond that note.
You never know where it's gonna go.
Man. Anyway, we're trying to stay on the path.
Yeah.
So obviously, as I said, basketball is a big part of you, but it's not the only part of you. So
Yep.
tell me, what is it? Who else is Trent Andre? Who else is
Who
the
else?
man? The man behind the, I was about to say behind the van, but sorry, in front of the camera. Who's the man in front of the camera? The podcast host.
Oh, there's a lot, man. There is a lot.
Like,
I mean, obviously, I make music.
shout out. 3 a.m.
I'm now a coach doing that.
Coach,
Obviously, the podcast.
podcast host.
All you lovely listeners and viewers. Love you all.
Shout out to the LGBTQ.
And obviously, I do my media stuff as well. Videography, taking photos, stuff like that. So that's a new thing that I've ventured off into.
So you said something about music.
Yeah.
And obviously, I know you do music.
You do.
I do.
We've had our fair share of freestyle sessions.
Freestyle session.
We have.
Wow. I can no longer recall them when a camera's in my face. Anyway, so tell me, what does music mean to you? Why is it you create music? Well, what for? Why would you go through the effort of creating music? For what? What does it mean to you?
For me, it's a hobby. It's not something I take super serious. Well, not at the moment. If it were to happen where my music did randomly blow up,
I mean,
not looking at anyone in particular.
not looking at anyone to stream any songs.
It's just my intro song's only been playing for like the past 9 episodes, but hey, it's all good.
No Puerto Rico.
Don't go and stream it.
Yeah, don't stream him. Trent Andre, don't stream him.
If it were to happen, I would definitely I would look at doing that properly, you know, taking it a lot more serious. But for me, it's just a way to express myself, get some things off my chest, I guess, and just have fun, to be honest. I just love making music. It's fun. I love sharing with everyone. So, yeah.
So
That's pretty much it.
pretty much it.
Yeah.
I was hoping for some more detail.
I've always loved writing, like ever since I was young.
Young poet, Shakespeare.
Yeah, even in like primary school, you know, I think I've actually tapped into this on the episode with Dan Dib.
That was a good episode.
Since young, I've been writing like poems, stories, and always just found like joy in it. I'm a very creative person, I would like to think. Just always ideas come into my head, so like it's sort of a way to release them off my mind. And yeah, like I said, just sharing different things with people and connecting with people. I think that's the main thing. I find happiness when people connect through what I create. Like, you know, like artists who paint and stuff like that, you know, they find happiness when people connect and it's a way for people, yeah, just to connect. It's the simplest way I can put it.
Man, don't ask me this question. Just to connect, man.
It's just to connect, man.
It's just to connect, man.
It's like Wi-Fi.
Like Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Double entendres and that.
Double
I'm rapping even when I'm not rapping.
Shakespeare. the
But
version.
yeah, just writing poems, honestly. Like I've always done it, and now it's like a different way of writing a poem, I guess. So just telling a story.
Bit more rhythm to it.
Yeah.
No. It's if I do indeed say so myself, very unbiased opinion, very impartial. I'm a fan. So I rate your music.
Thank you, man. I
I
do appreciate that.
You know, I'm sure there's some lovely people that do as well, but I digress.
Hey, I was in like 10 people's top 5 this year.
10 people's
Last year, sorry.
last year.
Yeah.
Where you at?
Hey, if I was in the top 5,
Like send them DMs through. Like
thank you, man.
Like no,
I actually appreciate you.
like mans will take you out to dinner.
I'll take you out for dinner, man. With all my fans. My fans.
All 5 of them. Yes.
Oh man,
You gotta start
it
somewhere.
was probably some guy in like fucking India or something.
Slovakia.
Just streaming my music. and stuff.
Kazakhstan.
Yeah. He's probably just learned how to use Spotify and come across my song.
He's like,
Why is the same one keep playing?
Trent Andre.
Who is this dickhead?
Ooh. I like that.
But yeah, album's coming soon.
Oh.
I think I touched on it last episode.
Okay.
Album is coming this year, ladies and gents. 2023, May, June, sometime.
July, August, September, October.
Yeah, probably next year. But it's coming. I've got quite a few songs out. Oh, not out, but like they're finished. They're in the vault, ready.
They're in the vault.
So stay tuned.
Oh, I like that. That's a good way to
I'll plug myself real quick.
end that portion. Snipe out now on all digital platforms. We're waiting to
You know, it's freestyle later. I don't know, man.
Oh damn. Okay. All right. So other than that, right? We've touched on basketball. We've touched on the music. Tell me, you said videography and sort of, or obviously we sort of did touch on basketball and you being a coach. Well, we didn't touch on you being a coach, but rather we touched on basketball. What is it you're looking to do with that? Because obviously that's
With coaching?
yeah, with coaching, but also like that's a bit of a different journey from being a player itself.
Well, for me, coaching, it's always been something I want to do because for me, I know how it feels being in those teams where you're sort of on the edge of giving up. And I think it's important for young kids who are playing the sport to have that person who pushes you and says, there's no point. There's no point in giving up. I'm a heavy believer in pushing past politics like we spoke about before, which is what a lot of people struggle with. so for me, that's I find happiness in helping people, seeing athletes, especially that are trained by me, improve and progress, not only as players but just as people. Like obviously, I want to help athletes with their mindset, like we were talking about, because again, it's really important.
Yeah.
So seeing that progression, not only on the court but just in the mindset. And like seeing that hunger develop more and more and more, and just seeing them strive, like to me, that's like one of the best feelings in the world. When you see someone smiling and they're happy because of what they've achieved, like they're happy with their own progress. To me, that's like top level joy. Like there isn't anything in the world that beats that. When you actually appreciate how far you've come as an individual, like I think that's the best thing.
I think also that a big factor is the fact that you still play, or you've had a lot of experience playing. You've played since you said you were 9.
Yep.
Right. So obviously, I think as we're talking about a bit about mindset before, that's also something that, because you have experience in that domain, in that area, and obviously more so than just teaching someone a layup or a different variation of whatever the movement is, you're also able to distill, as you were saying, a mindset and perhaps a different view of the game that you have because you've had this experience, up to a certain level. And so I think it's something that you can very much distill, and that was also partially why I was asking you about it earlier, is because I wanted to go into that, because it also does sort of feed into this role that you play as a coach.
Yeah, definitely. I think, the main reason I do it is just like I genuinely care about the athletes that I train. Not just the athletes I train. I care about all athletes. But like when I do train an athlete, there's a lot of trainers out there that just go and get their bag. They just go for the paycheck. That's their job. They don't care about their athletes. They just want the money. For me, I could not care less about money. Money comes and goes. We live in a country that's full of opportunity. And to me, I find the most happiness, like I said, just helping people get to where they want to be. And if I can help in just the smallest way, it makes me feel like I've completed some part of my purpose in life. That's the main thing.
You've done the perfect maneuver into exactly what I wanted to talk about. You just said purpose.
Yeah.
And I'm a very big believer in, and this is perhaps this idea in itself is maybe a bit different, but I believe you don't have a purpose, you have purposes in life.
100%.
So
there's a main one.
Yeah,
There's
that's
a
what I'm
main
saying.
one.
Like there might be one that's more, or perhaps in a certain period of your life, it's more at the forefront of everything.
Yep.
But I believe you have multiple purposes, and perhaps ties in with that multiple gifts.
Yep.
And that's just an opinion, but relating that back to you, what is it that you perceive, either when it comes to basketball or either when it comes to any of these things that you do? What is it you see as a purpose of yours? Or purposes
To me,
of yours?
it depends. Like, are you talking about me as an athlete or me as a coach?
Let's start with you as an athlete.
As an athlete, I feel my purpose is, the reason I want to be an athlete, first of all, is because that's something I love to do and I'm passionate, like I said earlier on.
Yeah.
Right. I personally, for myself, want to work a job or, do a hobby where I can get paid and enjoy it. Right. That's number one. The reason I also want to be an athlete is so I can reach a platform where I have people that look up to me and I can share my knowledge with them, to the next generation, especially for them to try and strive to reach the same position that I'm in.
Is that sort of also a bit linked to your coaching as well, in terms
Yeah,
of that,
definitely.
in terms of instilling sort of your knowledge and your wisdom
Yep.
to the next generation.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the younger kids that I've coached, I'll tell them to find a player, if they don't already, find a player that they love, right? That's now your motivation. For me, my motivation was LeBron. Always loved LeBron ever since I was a young kid, right? Different position, right? But I was like, I want to be that guy.
Excuse me. Please continue.
I was like, I want to be that guy. Yeah. Obviously, over time, you know, my next inspiration was Damian Lillard, because I sort of compared myself to his game, right? Point guard, can play the shooting guard at times, scorer, handles the ball well, plays good defense, and his mindset is unbelievable, right?
And he's a rapper.
And he's a rapper. I'm basically Dame Dollar.
Dame Dollar. For those of you that don't know, actually, Mandom's a rapper. He's actually not bad.
He's good.
pretty
He can rap, man.
Yeah.
But for me, that was like my main motivation, right? So I'll tell them to pick a player, and now I'm gonna help them, right? Whilst they've still got that other piece of motivation. So for me, it's, as a coach, my purpose is to try and fulfill another kid's dream and try and help them to reach their goals. As an athlete, I want to get to a position where, again, I can help people and try, just share my knowledge. And it's even deeper than that. It's just like, as a person and in this life that we live in, especially at this stage where, you know, social media and stuff is so, it's consuming. It consumes a lot of people, right? I want to use my platform to just show people a different side to it, because I think that's where a lot of the great athletes have like overcome that certain stage in life. They didn't get consumed in all the bullshit, you know. So that's my purpose, I believe. It's just to help people. And share my art through my music and stuff like that. A lot of my songs that you'll hear on my album,
when it comes out,
will be like, it's real stuff. Like I'm speaking about, you know, real stuff. So it's a way, again, of connecting and trying to tell a story and just help people. Obviously, there's certain songs that don't mean anything, but when I do put the pen to the page, it's real.
I feel that. And as you were describing your purposes and you know, what that means for you, because obviously, you know, to different people, different things mean different things to different people. So obviously you've got your purpose, right? And what you believe you're here to do. But if we go even like, perhaps we peel the onion once more, or another layer in, using that that metaphor, that anecdote, that, you know, that little story type thing. We peel another layer. What are your philosophies on life, and what is valuable to you in this life? And I know that's a very perhaps broad question.
I'll try to answer
if you
it.
can relate it perhaps back to your purposes as well.
Yeah.
Because of course there must be some interconnection there.
Yeah. So like, what's my view on life?
Perhaps like, what is it you value in life in
What
terms
I
of your
value?
philosophies on life, maybe?
Well, obviously family, friends, love is very important.
When you say family and friends, what do you mean specifically?
Being gratitude towards them. They're, especially people who live in Australia, we're lucky. We are blessed.
Very lucky.
We are blessed and privileged compared
Beyond.
to the rest of the world.
Beyond blessed.
Just be grateful. Always. Even when things are going wrong, it could be 100 times worse. It could be 100 times worse.
I so agree.
So in that aspect, it's definitely just gratitude, and showing appreciation.
For family and friends.
For family and friends, yeah. For anything really.
Anything.
Like,
It's a good one overall.
It's an overall. But what I value in life, I think love is very important. When I say love, it doesn't just mean in relationships. Right? When I say love, you know, like I'll tell Rush I love him. I'll tell all my friends I love them, you know, and it's not sus, man. Like, relax, right? Like,
It's a bit.
you know, as much as the boys will joke around, like it's a genuine love that I have for all my friends, and I love my family. You know, I love what I do, and that love, like, it's important. It's important to understand the specific love that you have for things. So that's another thing that I value.
Maybe one more, you know what I'm saying? We can probably go all day at this point, but you know, if you keep
I'm trying to really like tap into a specific.
Yeah, like your top three, you know what I'm saying? We ain't talking LeBron, Jordan, you know what I'm saying? Okay, keep that topic here.
Oh man, it's tough.
But I really reckon the love, you touching on love, I think, my personal opinion again, love is perhaps one of the few things in life that give life an inherent value.
And it doesn't exist enough.
Yeah, it doesn't. It does. That's why when you have, as you were talking about, like family and friends, and it doesn't just have to be a romantic sense of love and you know, a bouquet of flowers and the picnic under the Eiffel Tower. You know, it's that sort of when you have, you know, I would even say like loving support around you
100%
from you know, friends, family, and whatnot. That's a massive thing. I think it's very, very important.
And I think it's people are really quick to judge as well, right? When you say love, it can just be a stranger on the street. You don't have all right, this person may look like a bum, right? But why judge them? Yeah. Why assume the worst of someone? Right? Why I will never understand why humans can't just treat each other equally. If someone's done you dirty, all right, I understand. You know, that's different, right? Because now you've actually had something's happened to you personally, right?
But now I'm just saying, we're getting deep now.
Yeah,
we're getting deep because it's now you start touching on individuals.
Yeah, but it's important because a lot of people, they walk around and it's just straight away, boom, oh, that person's this, or this person's that. You don't even know that person.
I agree, but I disagree. But it's not about me. So I'm trying to look for that one more sort of, you know, that one more philosophy or sort of value that you have.
Yeah.
In terms of, you know, life and sort of your purpose.
I'm trying to think, man. You put me on the spot here. There's like a million things going through my head, but I can't say it.
It's like trying to articulate it.
Yeah, I'm trying to put it together.
It's you know, you don't have to provide. You provided two good answers. That's why
I think. How can I put this in words?
Try and explain it, and then perhaps maybe.
I'm not trying to sound like a dickhead.
It'd be like that sometimes.
I think going back to what I was saying, that, man, we live in a world where it is so easy to get consumed.
Okay.
And everyone is so easily influenced. And man,
you know it.
it is just, this world is just a toxic mess at the moment. I'll be honest, it's a toxic mess. All right, we've got TikTok, right?
Please don't start.
No.
I'm joking.
Like, it is the worst app to ever exist.
Oh man,
right? Like, don't get me wrong, I use TikTok, right? I've been consumed before, right?
Many times.
But like, man, it's the biggest app in the world at the moment. And it is just, you scroll through one comment section and you will understand what I'm saying.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I was actually hearing something on this, and it was actually Dr. Jordan Peterson, because I remember specifically. It seems like I mentioned him one too many times today, but he's a smart guy. And he was talking how somehow along the lines of basically like Reddit, and also this does relate to TikTok and social media, but the lack of accountability behind someone being able to post, right? And there's no like, you know what I mean? They're like in person, you would only say certain things, right?
Yeah.
Because there's repercussions to your actions, whether that's societal, physical, psychological, whatever they are. But online, you can create a fake account and go and comment on.
You can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want.
And that's what I'm saying. It's just a toxic place.
But going back to what Jordan Peterson was saying, and he was saying psychopaths are able to comment, and it's sort of it's in some ways it's turned to a breeding ground for them. And I'm paraphrasing because I've slightly turned it, I know, but he's talking how because there is no accountability, basically it's developing like psychopathic tendencies.
It becomes the norm.
Yeah, and so they're not having any repercussions for their actions, which in a societal sense would typically, other people.
It means it's okay.
Yeah, other people would be able to sort of correct that behavior to some extent. They would sort of be not punished, but punishment can mean as minor or more severe punishments. But it could be, something as simple as, someone putting them back into their place and being like, oh, you can't speak like that. You know what I mean? That's not, or whatever that sort of thing is. But online, there is no accountability. There's not. So people are able to develop these perhaps tendencies and psychological, tendencies that are,
I think,
as you're talking about, going back to being consumed.
This world is just full of hatred at the moment, like towards each other, and I don't know, man. I could go on about it for hours.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do that. But just like if you're listening to this, be positive. Like find the good in situations. And if you like, it's such a cliche thing to say, but if you have nothing good to say, there's no need to speak on it unless it's constructive criticism, right? I might have a shit jump shot, right? And you come to me and you're like, hey man, you need to fix that.
Trash.
Yeah, you need to fix that. I'm like, all right, show me how. That's a positive way to go about something. But if you if you just come to me and you're like, bro, you are fucking trash. You suck. That is so bad. Man, what's the need? There's no positive outcome of that situation.
No, there isn't. But
like we live in a world. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a stab in the dark. We live in a world where suicide rates are higher than ever.
Yeah, I think that's a fact.
Yeah.
I can say mental health.
It's broken.
It's at record highs. Yeah, that one's a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
And I genuinely believe it's because of social media.
Yeah, I would.
Because
There's
now,
many causes, but I would
but
say
now,
it's one.
now
of them,
you've got a platform where you can sit at home and look at things, and that will influence how you go about your next day.
Yeah, but this is my only thing, right? I'm a very big believer that social media itself, like Instagram, for example, minus perhaps some of the recent controversies with certain social medias, but the actual platforms are neutral.
Yeah.
To some extent,
It's
right?
the people.
It's the people and it's the content you consume. It's the people you follow, because the majority of things, like obviously minus like your For You page, which has an algorithm that,
Yeah. But there's a reason that the algorithm is the way it is.
Yeah, but I'm talking like, for example, Instagram, right? Let's use Instagram,
Yeah.
which is a very obviously popular social media, no doubt. But a lot of people will probably follow negativity and will choose to be surrounded by that sort of content and will consume that content, which will in turn, it has a consequence. I think perhaps because social media is relatively new, we're not completely aware of the effects. It's like, for example, right, we used to think cigarettes were good. Then we actually studied them, and then we learned, okay, that was all propaganda.
Yeah.
That was all marketing. That was bullshit. And so I think it's like how old is Facebook? Like early 2000s?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So, and that's perhaps the first real, obviously had MySpace perhaps before that, but
Yeah.
you know, that's perhaps one of the first real.
I think, like,
social media.
when you look at Instagram especially, it's not even that it's like bad content, right? It's just you look at someone and that's them at their best.
Yeah.
And then
Definitely.
like I was tapping into before, you start to compare. Oh, this guy's in Rome all the time, man.
Yeah. On God now, it's like linking back.
Right.
It does. The comparison stuff.
You're seeing someone live their best life, man. I can post a photo today.
He's got a Ferrari.
I could have just been at the worst mental state ever.
Mm-hmm.
I still have the ability to post a photo of me at Summer Jam. And you might think that I am the happiest guy alive, man. This guy's playing Summer Jam. Look at the smile on his face, man.
Look at that dunk.
All I had to do was click one button.
True.
And now you're comparing yourself to the position I'm in.
Yeah, when you're never going to, you're probably never going to be in the exact position that they're in. Like you could, like the chances of you, it's practically impossible.
Yeah.
I'm talking from a probability perspective to be in the exact situation that this person is in terms of like everything that's shaped this person and everything that's shaped the circumstances they're in. The possibility of that actually unfolding is like,
Yeah.
I don't even want to say it's zero, but it is.
Yeah.
It is 0.0000000 something. So, yeah, going back to what you.
Let's get away
what
from
you
this.
Say. Yeah, let's
get away from this, man.
This could be a podcast on its own.
I want to be happy.
I just want you to touch on, and this is perhaps the last thing I've really got to ask you about, and it's your videography and your photography, and why.
Well, here we go again.
Who? How?
Why do I do it? It's just something I enjoy. I love capturing a moment, like a specific moment. There's certain videos and photos I see. Social media has upsides as well. Don't get me wrong. This is one of them. I'll see a photo where a certain moment was captured, and you see the joy of people, and that's a moment now that someone can relive. So for me, that's why I do it. That's there's nothing else to it.
Simple.
Capturing a moment for people to go back and relive is beautiful.
It's a beautiful thing. I agree, but I also have another follow-up question from that, and it's where do you see that sort of taking you? What is it you sort of, obviously you want to capture a moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a few ways you could do that, obviously.
Yep.
Many ways you can do that. But yeah, sort of what is that? What is the future of that? And yeah,
I think that will unfold itself. I don't really have any specific plan for it. Yeah, just wherever it takes me, to be honest. Like whatever I find enjoyment doing, that's what I'll do. It's not something that I really have planned out. It's just, wherever it takes me, it takes me. Like at the moment, I'd love to just film for businesses even. Just, ads. It could be anything.
Content creation.
Yeah, whatever,
That's all
A
content.
business is looking for an ad created, or they want a specific thing filmed that they can promote.
Yeah.
That's something I do. I'm still helping someone in some way.
Yeah. Most definitely.
But at the end of the day, it's business. But then I've also got, there's another side of me where I'll just go out and take photos because that's what I like to do. There'll be a sunset and I'm like, man, that looks sick. Let me capture it.
Bit of a weirdo, huh?
Yeah, I'm a
Taking
weirdo.
random photos of people.
I'm a weirdo.
Little voyeurism.
Like the other day, actually, I was at I just took the camera out. I was like, let's go for a drive with Josephine. I was like, let's just go for a drive. Like, it's a nice night, whatever. Let's enjoy the weather. Took my camera down to Black Rock. There was a nice sunset, and there was actually a couple sitting on the end of the rock. And I was like, man, this would be a sick shot. So I just like they were facing the sunset, and I was behind them, and I just started taking flicks from like up the very top of the hill, and it was just them on the edge of the cliff, and then like the sun was in the background, and it was just reflecting off the water perfectly. So I actually approached them. I was like, oh man, I was stuck. I was like, man, do I go and interrupt them or do I just let them enjoy the moment?
Do I I'd just be the weird person that takes photos of them.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, nah, you know what? Like they'll probably want it. Like it's actually a pretty sick photo, and like obviously it's a moment for them. So I went up to him and I was like, yo, like I'm sorry to interrupt. Like I was like, I had to come over. I was like, I just took some photos of you guys. Not to sound weird.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I just took a couple photos and like they actually come out pretty sick. I was like, is there any chance you guys might want them? And they were like, oh, like let's like, can we see them? And I was like, yeah, like of course. I showed them the photos and they were like, oh my god, like they're actually sick. So I gave the couple my Instagram and actually came home and spruced them up a little bit.
Oh.
And then threw them into a drive for them and just sent them through, and they were actually like really appreciative of it. So even just being able to do that, you know, like that I don't know what they're going to do with the photo, but like now they have the opportunity to relive that moment, you know, that could have been a special moment for them. Maybe it's their first date. Maybe they just got engaged. I don't know what the hell the goal is, but you know, they might even put it in a frame on their wall. Like you never know. So
100%.
Just being able to capture that moment it was actually like, man, I went home and I was like, that was good.
It's almost like also being a part of that moment as
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
Sharing in that moment with
Yeah, like I obviously I don't know how much they do genuinely appreciate it, but you know, that might be their favorite photo ever. Like there is a chance of that, you know, like so yeah, that's why I do it.
I've got one more question, sorry. And this is perhaps the most important one.
Finisher.
Hold up. The finisher. Why BTU? Why the podcast? And this is probably the most relevant, and that's why we, you know, I wish I could have put a little drum roll
Why
in there.
Beyond the Unknown?
Why are we going beyond the unknown? BTU.
Well, I wanted to start up a podcast for a long time. I was watching Joe Rogan for a long time. I feel, and I know Nate probably has a different reason to doing it. I don't know. I've actually never really had this conversation with Nate.
Still waiting for that phone call.
Yeah, he hasn't even called me back,
Hour
the
in,
sad
man.
guy. It's been an hour and 13 minutes,
Bro,
man.
sad guy. Anyway, moving on.
Why I do it, I want this to be like the more professional side of me. And I want it to be sort of informative for people. If there's any point in any podcast where someone could go, oh, that's actually really interesting, or I just learned something, or, you know, just even seeing a certain insight of, because we're going to get a whole different range of people on here, you know. Like I said, we've had artists, basketball players, we're going to get engineers on here, models, people who've been on TV,
News
Rashid
coming soon.
Alash.
Boost.
You know,
Give the big pronunciation of the name.
It's shocking. I need
Shout
to
out.
work on it, but you know, like we're getting all different people on here, so it gives people an insight of what sort of lifestyles other people live. You know, I feel like as humans we should always be learning. I'm not the best podcast host, and neither is Nate. No offense.
I'm the best.
neither is Nate,
So
but
good.
like, you know, if I can even just, there's one specific thing where you're like, man, I took something away from that. That's what I do it for, I guess. And again, it's a way for me to just talk. You know, there's a lot of stuff that goes through my mind, a lot of stuff that, again, I want to share. So yeah, that's why I do it.
Well, BTU, Beyond the Unknown.
I just did a clapping sound.
Did a clapping sound.
Round of applause, mate.
Round of applause. Yeah, the first one for me. You know,
It was the first one for
Beyond
you,
the
actually.
Unknown.
It was, you did well. You did well.
alright, you know,
Good
it's
interviewer, mate. P.S. Morgan over here.
alright. Start eating a Big Mac in front of a vegan. That's lethal. Don't sue us.
But
We love all. Peace. But yeah, no, it was. I think it's good for people to sort of understand and grasp a bit about you, because you're one of the hosts, and obviously, you know, you're doing big things in life, and the more people know about you, and I'll be honest, hopefully the more they get on board and they recognize that, you know, and obviously, as I say, I'm biased, but the more people realize he's a dickhead, but he's not the biggest dickhead in the world. He's someone that you sort of you want to get behind, and from what I can see and from what I'm going to say is I see big things in the future, man. So,
mate, thank you, brother.
So that's all I'm saying. That's why for me it was just a matter of sort of, getting a bit about you and who you are and what makes you. So,
well,
that's it.
Thank you to everyone for listening to my very short, condensed story of my life.
Yeah. That was it's very.
There is a huge man. I could talk about it for hours and hours. The camera would die. This thing would probably die.
We only touched on the future realistically and sort of what you're doing now.
Yeah,
we haven't really touched on much of the past, which is how many years?
21.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. There's still a lot, and I just think it's a good glimpse into you. So
no, I appreciate it, man. It was good. I actually enjoyed it.
And Nathaniel, we wish you could have been here.
We wish you could have been here.
We wish you would have answered the phone.
Rash is better than you, man. I'll be honest. No, it's true, man. Nate, you're shit. You,
Lethal.
Man.
Bro, come on. Nathaniel, love you, man.
Oh, yeah, there hasn't been a podcast this good, man.
Nah, that's a lie.
Nah. Dead set.
That's a lie.
Dead set. Rash carries BTU, man.
No, man. You're not even a part of it, man. But, you know what?
No, I'm joking. I love you, Nate.
We love you, Nate.
We'll see you soon, man. Well, I told him you can be like our Joey Diaz, right?
Joey Diaz.
Yeah,
I'm Joey Diaz.
You can just come on whenever. You can be a regular on BTU.
Okay, become like an unregular regular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But get used to his face, ladies and gents, because he's going to be here for a couple of weeks. And then Nathaniel will be back with us. But
I think we should
you'll be seeing the man around a lot. So everyone, that is episode 9, I believe.
Yeah, I want to say 9.
Yeah,
something like
that.
Something like that.
But we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.
Thank you again, Rush.
Appreciate you.
All right, thanks for listening.
Adios.